the joke.
All right.
Okay.
Serious.
All right, guys. Welcome.
Welcome.
Man, welcome to Utah Cannabis Club, everybody. It's your boy, Sepp.
You got Gabe.
JJ.
And it's Javi in the building.
Welcome. Welcome.
What's up, y'all?
What's up? Thanks for joining us today.
Today, what are we talking about, guys?
We're going to be touching a little bit on the concept and understanding of a little bit of oils, extracts, some distillate, and kind of just differentiating it a little bit for the people to understand and for ourselves, educating behind that. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's start. I think we should start square one.
Square one.
So, what's
Square one.
when I say square one, I'm referring to what's dominantly sold on the market, right?
Ooh.
So, what's
Flour?
predominantly for oil? For concentrate.
Well, technically.
For oil in this case. Like, what's the predominant? What's the predominant?
Still flour.
Still flour,
Still
because they
flour?
need flour to make oil.
That's
Right, you're right about that.
You guys are right. You guys
But-
are right.
I would
no.
say people go for, whatever is the best out at that time, right?
Unfortunately, not, my friend. And Javi can attest to this being part of that forefront of selling and being in the pharmacy. What's the predominant vape that you sell?
So it's a balance of cost and quality.
So hold up. What is the question? What is the most sold item in the
Vape realm.
In the vape realm?
In particular, concentrates, because that's going to be usually
Okay.
what's sold here in
So,
Utah.
and particularly in concentrates.
So if we're talking
True.
about concentrates, it'll be distillate vape carts because they are extract.
Yeah.
And because of their mobility, their how conspicuous they are, or what's the word? Inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous.
How
Yeah.
inconspicuous they are, how easy it is to just, take a puff.
And the
put it in the
accessibility.
pocket. The accessibility is just so much pros to the cons. And most people don't really look at the cons as cons.
And price point, too, right?
Price point for sure.
Price
Oh, yeah,
point.
without a doubt.
Like, even
That's a
if you
huge
try to get a
factor.
raw gram of shatter, same equivalent to distillate, they have the same method of extraction. One is just more stable than the other.
Right.
BHO has a little bit more of that shatter-like consistency unless you decarboxylate it, get it into a distillate format, and then you can then infuse it into carts and whatever gummies, other products that you're manufacturing too as well. But in particular, distillate is the most predominant thing sold in the Utah market, and that's
Honestly, in most markets, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The impact that vape cartridges have had on the cannabis industry has been tremendous. Like, insane, honestly.
It's just the
That's high
ease of
potency,
use, man.
Like that's one of the things that you notice with like distillation or distillate in particular, right? It's high in potency, right? It's versatility for dabbing, right? It's versatility for vaping. It's shelf life that it creates, right? And that's why you hear numbers like over 70% of the industry, right? Still dominated by distillate, right? But at the same time, there's still some positives too. It does get rid of impurities and stuff like that, and that's why for the majority, it is the route that a lot of manufacturers and processors and cultivators and whatnot use. Yeah, it tests really high, man. You see some distillate, like some pods, man, they're like 90 plus, because of the potency, you know what I mean? And a lot of people like to go for that,
and like you brought up a really great point about being very stable. It's a very
Shelf
stable
life,
product.
yeah.
So when you look at being able to store it and being in the culture of Utah and having the Mormon background, storage is huge. It's a huge thing for people to be able to have consistency in storage, and it's one of the most easy things to store in the cannabis little bubble.
Versatility, yeah.
Yeah.
That versatility.
Because the second that you start climbing some of the tiers, and we'll get into it in this episode, but we don't want to step too far ahead. They're a little bit more delicate when it comes to storage. But distillate in particular, having that duality of having a low price point with a high potency, there is a place for it in the market. But unfortunately, I think it's a little bit overstepped with the way that it's regarded as the best or the go-to or what they should be consuming on a consistent basis.
It's literally distilled. That's like distilled, you know? So it's literally when you think about cannabis, I'm looking up extract wise, and they have a really cool educational little format on their website. And the way they describe distillate as a thick liquid with a high concentration of one or more cannabinoids, it is relatively flavorless, which I can attest to because you have to sometimes combine the distillate with something in order for it to make it taste good.
Right.
A lot of the times, if not most of the time, you can't just smoke distillate by itself. That's kind of rough for your throat. The potency level is really rough for you. But yeah, just wanted to kind of like chime in on that part too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's distilled, you know, when you think about it, it's like just taking all that plant matter, all that biomass, and literally trying to break it down into synthesizing into an oil that we can still consume safely, into hardware safely, into our lungs safely,
So
right?
let's take it a step further for the consumers. So now that you guys get a little bit of understanding on where distillate falls in the realm of vape carts, it's going to be your cheaper tier. It's going to be usually flavored with botanical or single source cannabis derived terpenes. And that can also mean that they are hemp-derived terpenes. They are still considered cannabis-derived if they are derived from hemp. So allow yourself to be weary of the loopholes that cannabis has in it. But it overall is a product that holds benefit for you if you are looking for something to get you through until your next payday. But you should treat yourself with the next tier up. The next tier up is what? Cured resin, right?
Yeah.
That would be, in my opinion, it'd be like a cured resin or cured rosin. And that's the next step after. What do you guys think? What's the next step up for you guys?
I think it'd be the cured resin. I mean, so when we talk about cured resin, we're talking batter, we're talking butter, we're talking all these other ones.
Yep.
If it's that, then yes, that's the next step up because that's what people really call dabs. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Sugars.
sugars and diamonds,
Crumbles.
sauces,
Honeycomb.
Those would I would even say that's probably the next step up.
Next
and
step
then it'd be
up,
rosin
and then be
because
rosin.
you see a lot of people going for those
Gosh.
diamonds because they're like, oh, it's that pure THC mixed with like the sauce that it was that it was in.
the terpenes.
So you see a lot of people going for that for sure.
You just kind of shined a light on my perspective of it. I think the next step up from distillate is probably THCA diamonds, like isolate.
for sure.
Isolate's probably anytime that you get a isolated cannabinoid or
Right.
an extreme high potency of just one.
Just one, yeah.
That's where, in my opinion, probably the next step up from distillate is going to be your THCA diamonds in sauce.
Right.
And like, even though it could be in a great sauce and whatever, but
With tons of flavor.
but overall, diamonds in sauce is going to probably be my next tier. I take back my
That's
statement.
honestly
Yeah,
just
diamonds are like-
is honestly just a cart.
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
you really think about it,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's just a cart, not in a cart.
It raw.
yeah, literally raw.
Got that raw cart.
The fucking guts, the guts of a cart.
Yeah, the guts of a cart before it gets rehomogenized.
guts.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a terp sauce that it's sitting
very
in.
true.
And you can still get like pretty decent terp sauces, but at that
Without a
point,
doubt.
you're not really looking at that, you know.
You're not getting the actual multiple cannabinoids that you're getting in
That
like
full
actual resin
spectrum.
or in a rosin.
Biocomplexity.
Exactly, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that we talked about that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make.
So,
is
okay, after diamonds,
cured resin.
cured resin.
And like, in my opinion, it goes from like honeycomb, crumble, batter, sugar, sauce. That would be my tier rating. Because I noticed that a lot of people like honeycomb and crumble because it's really malleable. It's super easy to work with.
Yeah.
But if you look at how it melts down and how it ends up handling
And the
in
function
the bucket,
of it, like at the end of the day.
in the bucket, it doesn't perform as well as like some of your sugars and sauces
waxes,
and like
yeah.
your batters. You really don't see the consistency of the concentrate in my opinion, they're a lot drier of a consistency, especially honeycomb and crumble.
Yeah, I see that.
So
yeah.
it's a little bit
It
more.
resembles the honeycomb for those that.
Yeah, it literally looks just like a honeycomb.
So I
Not
do wanna bring
exactly,
something
just
up.
like, you know.
So how you said it goes, honeycomb batter. What did you say after that?
Honeycomb batter. No,
No, you
honeycomb
said
crumble
crumble
batter.
and then sugar.
Sugar.
Sauce. So for everyone out there, and honestly including myself, what do you mean when you're saying sugar and sauce? Because just before we were talking about THC diamond isolate as the second tier from distillate carts. So are we talking about only THC diamonds? Only THC, like no sauce? Because
So you make a great point. You make a
we're
great
saying
point.
sugar and sauce are
And
above all
sauce.
those, when sugar is basically THC diamonds with sauce. Am I right?
So sugars, yes, but I'm looking at like I guess, and these are all my opinions. Like these are my
Definitions.
level of like what I like to smoke on the scale. So sugars are more refined and like easier to work with, and they feel like they're a lot better integrated with each other. It doesn't feel like as big of a
It's not like a
displacement
1-2.
between THCA to sauce.
It's like one product.
And it's really equal throughout the entire scoop. You know what I mean?
So how do you make a sugar?
So there's a couple of different ways that you can make sugars. You can take honestly, the way that I used to make sugars back in the day is I would take like shatter, a BHO product, and then I would heat cure it. You throw it into some form of heat. So the way that I would do it, I would leave it in my trunk in the middle of the summer. That would get up to like 150, 140 degrees. Leave it in there for 3 days, 2 days, come back, and then whip it. And after I would whip it, it would unstabilize, and I would get those sugar formations to start coming instead of it stabilizing as a shatter. So it's essentially you're burping and purging it a little bit further in the process.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got the street recipe here. Seb, what does that website say about sugars?
Yeah, sugars, man. So it's really awesome. Sugar, we can talk about it in a sense of it looks like crystals, smaller than diamonds, but larger than isolate, right? It is often colored and mixed with sauce, giving it a wet paste-like appearance. Sugar is usually made by a hydrocarbon extraction. The smaller crystals that make up the sugar can be produced by rapid nucleation and sometimes grown in Pyrex dishes.
Wow.
It talks about sugar is a lot like brown sugar, small sugars, and more colorful in appearance than white sugar. In both cases, it's additional flavor and less refinement. Sugar can be less granular texture like table sugar, and the size of the crystals can vary. Sometimes the name can go by caviar, apparently as well, when they call it sugar. Some people may call sugar caviar. So, and it's consumed in what way? How'd you consume it?
So
Sugars.
concentrate. So I would usually I like to use the.
Because I don't know how to consume sugar, right? You think of sugar like, oh, it's like wet. Do I like
Sprinkle
wet? Yeah. Do I sprinkle this on my joint or something?
So I like Coda V focuses.
Go to me, Bert. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Coda V Focus. I apologize. And like Puffco Peak, they're great devices. A standard
Electronic
banger.
Dabricks, he's saying, folks.
Yeah.
Electronic Dabricks.
And a standard banger and water pipe
Nice.
bong.
Flavor? Is there flavor to this depending on the strain that you're like how you're whipping it and stuff? Really
Definitely.
tasteful.
So it mentioned that it's grown in a Pyrex dish, and I don't want that to get a misconception.
Right.
And so there's a curing process that's happening when they're curating it in that Pyrex dish. It naturally forms due to the purging of the,
Nice.
depending on extraction format. There's many different formats from CO2, propane, butane. So they're essentially, when they say they're leaving it in that Pyrex, they're taking it from that extraction method and allowing it to purge and burp, and it naturally formats the form of crystals. That's what they're referring to. I don't want that to get misconstrued.
Do people sell it as sugars? Like in
Sorry,
dispensaries?
Yeah.
Like it's sugar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like sugar in like.
Do we have it in our market?
I would
Oh, yeah.
say that like
It's
the
more
white
rare,
diesel kind of looks like a sugar almost, a little bit.
It's literally like sugar if you put like honey on it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, one way that was explained to me, that's a really nice way of thinking about it, of basically sitting in a Pyrex dish, is the same way that you make candy rock crystals
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yes.
That same process is basically the same process that you do with THC diamonds. And when they told me that, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then and that's why I ask, because after they form those diamonds, they mix it with the sauce that is, all the terps and everything else that was in there. And that's what makes it that sugary, saucy material, So for you like sugars more than crumble, batter, honeycomb, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'd say sugar is probably like one of my like favorites, just because I've had some really good experiences with it personally.
Yeah. How come? Like what, other than the experiences?
So it's super easy to work with. In my opinion, you can turn a not so good product into a better product just by allowing it to curate a little bit longer and giving it a little bit of attention.
Do you think possibly that could be like killing off some of the terpenes?
So you're
like
always gonna
degrading
have you're always gonna have some form of, I don't like to refer to it as degradation. I like to refer to it as transformation. The plant is transforming into a new format. And yes, you are experiencing a degradation, but when you're using like a high THC like shatter, and you're reducing that THC into now CBD and CBG through transformation, not degradation. It's just transforming through naturally oxidization and light and heat. All those things kind of reduce some of the main molecules into minors. So in my opinion, that's where I like it. I like that you can turn something not so beautiful into something really beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So in my opinion, that's why I like it. But
Let's go around the table and see what's everyone's favorite concentrate. Seth, what's your
Dang,
favorite?
man. Right now, I would have to say it is sauce.
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 You like it saucy?
Yeah, I got to experience the Emerald Cup winners last year. Their sauce cart. Arcade of Fire, House of Extracts, and that is some high terpene extraction going on there. You know what I mean? The flavorful content that they have within that, and the way they flash freeze and cryo flash freeze the flower, Humboldt grown. You know what I mean?
So it was all live.
Yeah, So live terp sauce is literally how they market it, which is really cool because I actually brought it today for a little bit of a sample for you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
he said live, and I wanna explain what that means. Whenever you see live on a product, on any kind of concentrate, they're referring to them literally whopping the plant down and getting it straight into some form of freezing and then into an extraction
You're saying
format.
like a live resin.
Yes. So it's a live biomass that they took straight from harvest to method of extraction. And that's what they're referring to when you see live on a product.
That flash frozen.
Yep, flash frozen.
That's super fresh.
That's dank.
Whew. Yeah.
That's smelly. That's just smelly cart. So this is your favorite right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever vaporized it in a banger?
No, not yet. Haven't had sauce in a bang or anything. Just smoking it in a 510 right now. But the fact that they're able to transfer that sauce, right, that high potency sauce, into a vapor cartridge, and still transfer that flavor over, still transfer the effects over. I mean, I can feel it with the pods, right? The high potency's but when you smoke a high potency sauce, you're feeling it in your legs.
Said it goes below the waist.
That for real
It goes
does.
below the waist.
And it may be because the terpenes are way higher. I mean, we're talking like 5%, right? Right? Terpenolene coming in at 17.13 milligrams, dog. You know what I'm saying?
5% is pretty fucking good.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
And
the
it's
thing.
also
You're
the
not
extraction.
trying to chase the high, right? It's not like you're trying to get drunk the fastest, right? And that's the thing with concentrates, right? It's like, it's in the name concentrate, right? It's highly concentrated in whatever format it is, right? But for them to find like this balance, that's the key right there in concentrates. This is always the balance. How you whip it, how you cure it, you know what I mean? But for me, right now, it is sauce. What about you, brother?
Right now, and like this is kind of moving a little bit into the next phase of like the illustrations of what we're talking about, but it's fresh press.
Nice.
I like fresh press.
Fresh press is
I'm a
good.
fresh press guy. What about you, JJ?
Fresh pressed.
Yeah, I gotta go with rosin, dog.
Yeah, fresh press.
Yeah.
Nice.
Same way, you know.
Cold cure,
Cold cure too.
whipped.
Give me
Any kind, dog.
give me a whip, bro.
I love
Get,
it.
I got
you know,
this
get
one.
those,
Yeah, that one.
like you said, get it even more evolved to a next step. Get that flavor
What was yours?
blasting.
To be honest, I'm not the biggest concentrate person just because they do blast me out the sky. But my favorites would probably have to be a sugar or sauce because of the I enjoy the flavor way more than just getting lifted to the toes.
Yeah.
Right. I hear it.
It's like enjoying a good drink with your friends, guys. If we were to compare it that way, it's like you go either to a club and try to get hammered as fast as you can, and when you go to these shops and you try to shop, you look for flavor, look for the strains, look what washed well, look what translates well from the hardware that you're using, you know what I mean, the flavors that you're wanting to chase, so.
And sometimes we
Yeah.
have some of these flowers that are like our favorite flowers,
Right.
and they don't wash well or they don't come out to the best concentrate. You know what I mean? So sometimes your favorite flower doesn't always translate to your favorite concentrate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, live rosin, like you said, I'm with you too, the cold cure.
So let's talk about what you guys are talking about, just to clarify for the listeners just a little bit more. When you say the word wash, what are you guys referring to when you say wash?
Not like wash
As
your
far-
armpits. Like a good kind of
I mean,
wash.
what I'm referring to is
that's
the
good, too.
extraction.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotta wash the
Yeah.
pits,
You know what I mean?
I didn't
That could
watch mine
be
last night.
water hash. That could be with your butane or ethanol. I'm just saying the extraction process.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's what I.
Fill us in.
That's
Fill
what
us
I meant.
in.
So like,
Because there is a different terminology.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
In-
Wash is just
cultivation.
ice water, ice hash, right?
yeah, just ice water is like my main.
That's what people refer to when they say wash.
Yeah. That's when you mainly hear that term, ice water hash or washing hash.
Yeah.
You're usually referring to an ice water method. I just didn't want that to get misconstrued in the translation.
Thanks for it.
Ice water hash in particular is how we get to fresh press, and that's what my favorite concentrate is. So ice water hash is also known as solventless. When you see the word solventless in the dispensary or pharmacy, they're referring to ice water, a solventless product, which
But
is
like
also
I
a
said
controversial
before,
term.
Yes.
like I said before, water is a solvent.
So
Yes.
yes, and I want to go back to the solventless is my top of the game too as well. Trying that solventless live rosin is, man, archaic.
Once you try it, you'll understand why we admire it so
And it's
much.
how
Yeah.
people do it. You know what I mean? It's how
like
these
cold
manufacturers
pressed juice.
do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cold pressed juice is really good. It's very nutritious. It's got its ups and downs, but it's just like taste wise, there's almost nothing better.
Right.
Right. You just mentioned something really beautiful. So you mentioned fresh press. When you think about it in juice terms, you think of all of the plant's minor flavonoids,
Yep.
all of the minor nutrients that goes into the orange, right? And that's what you're secreting out, and you're getting the concentrated
Everything.
format of that.
Yep.
So that's the same with when you look at like a fresh press in concentrate world as well. You're getting the full biocomplexity of that plant isolated in a very small format. So you're getting a way bigger flavor profile. You're getting a way nicer distributed high because, or I call it, thank you for helping me with this, but lifted or medicated experience, you will start to have a more symbiotic relationship internally because you're using more of your ECS, your endocannabinoid system. More of your body's responding to the plant at that point.
Also,
on a lower dose.
Also, all of that's coming out of the plant, it's not going through a process of of a breakdown or, as you guys are saying, going through a solvent process. And so it's all staying intact, which in turn is also
Not
helping
destroying the bud.
It's also helping it work together with itself when it goes into our system. I've never tried rosin or any fresh press, so that's why it's like, for me, sugar has always been it because it's the best tasting. But I know the moment I try some rosin, it's gonna be
pressure and heat, dog. Pressure and heat.
Hey, you will.
Pressure and
You
heat.
will soon enough.
Live
brother.
rosin,
Emerald
pressure,
Cup.
heat.
Shout out Emerald Cup for the 500th time. we gonna hit that shit up.
So I had an extractor. He explained it to me really well. He gave me a really beautiful illustration of when you look at how beaten up a trichrome has to get in its extraction format and like the holistic sense of how beat up do you want your trichrome before it gets back to you, and looking at how gentle you can be from like ethanol to water, and looking at how you're curing and like caretaking for the plant and like holding it instead of beating it up and asking more, So he made a really beautiful illustration about how the holistic side of things go into curating hash, and I just wanted to shine some light on that.
Would you say like the type of flower matters?
Yeah, 10,000%. So there's
Explain that to them, because obviously it does,
You
right?
can't just do stems and leaves, right?
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, though. See, there you go. See, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. See, I got y'all now. That's what I meant. Because some
but would you want
manufacturers
to?
use stems, leaves,
They use
and they'll
everything.
wash that. Some use straight up,
but they'll get a
humble,
bigger
sun-grown
yield.
flower.
They'll get a bigger yield.
You know what I'm saying?
Turning it from that to distillate instead of washing it.
Right.
Like it's kind of
More bang
a
for your buck
no-brainer
there.
in a business sense to do that with
But-
to wash
but-
stems and
but-
leaves and shit.
But a lot of them do
And
because
what's
of
really
that.
unique, actually, about that is you do get a higher return off of ground up, broken down flour than you would whole plant, right? So let's say
more
that you're
surface area.
using trim for ice water hash. You're gonna get like a 11 to 22% at the very, very extreme. Like you did really great. That's gonna be your return ratio for whole plant. You're looking at like 4 to 12% return. So your return really minimizes when you use whole plant compared to trimmed flour or trimmed biomass. So, Seb, you're right. A lot of companies do use trim.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad
But the
thing.
way they
all of
wash it, it's the processes after that provide the purity and the refinement for your product. You know what I mean? What's the classic saying? Fire in,
Fire out, baby.
always, man. And that's how it has to be. But in educational wise, there are those methods of manufacturers. And it's not to say this or that. We're just giving out the info.
Yeah. And it's just so
It's good.
people
Try it.
are aware that there are tiers and there
Tiers
are
to it.
reasons why there are products that cost more and there are products that cost less. And we're just trying to give a little bit of knowledge on how we can help you guys get to the next level of confidence when you walk into the next pharmacy or dispensary you guys go into. That's the main key to all this, is we just want to educate on where our market's at right now and where we're going.
Can you tell people what shatter is?
Shatter?
Yeah.
So shatter is another...
I personally have never bought shatter before.
No?
Never?
Ever?
I mean, it's kind of
Ever.
It's kind of an older extraction process.
And I don't know many people that like talk about it.
Okay.
I mean,
be honest.
Dragonfly has shatter. I'm not
Right,
saying it's
right.
not around. I'm just
No,
saying
and it's presence in certain places in California, making a comeback too, in it. So
There's
shatter.
a lot of different ways that you can cure shatter or curate shatter.
Is the name in its appearance.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
It'll shatter.
A lot of these names are in their appearance, guys. If you kind of think about it, it's the way they're synthesized, right? Sugar,
Yeah.
almost like a
Yeah.
wet-like sugary pasty,
Substance, like
right?
honey that's just
Right,
about to
honey,
go bad. Well, not
batter.
bad, but like just needs to be heated up to
Right.
regain like, a
Butter.
low viscous.
Shatter would be like honey that has
Brittle, like this
It's like a
spread out.
It's like a window pane of it
Nice.
spread out, and then it gets hard, and then it,
Okay,
it's
let's take it
really-
step. Let's
No,
take it one
shatter.
step back.
Yes, sir.
So BHO is the most common format that you'll see for streets
and BHO
to
stands for?
curating butane hash oil. So BHO is going to be the main format that you see present in the streets, and there are a couple of different ways that you can do it. The main format is you can take literal butane, have a chamber at the top.
It's like a circle.
Yeah,
Yep.
glass
it's a full cylinder. You fill the cylinder with weed. You blast it with the butane, and all the secretion comes out onto a pan.
Oh, is that like the
Yeah.
people that do that home stuff and they blow them
Yeah.
up? They blow
Yeah.
them up?
But they're like smoking a cigarette by it.
Yeah, and most of the time
I see that
those
container go.
PVC.
It's just like
Except
you just see
those
the little container.
Because they
You're
were
like,
using plastic PVC pipes, not even
Crazy,
glass
bro.
cylinders.
Yeah. So that's the main way that people are doing it. And then
I
after
was
you
dabbing
get it
that
to
shit.
that form,
We all
you're going to put it into a heat chamber, a vacuum chamber.
there you go.
Purge.
Okay.
And you're going to
Purging.
start purging out the butane.
Nice.
So once you start
Vacuum.
curing that butane, you're gonna watch it swell up and
There you
come
go.
down, swell
Swell
up
up,
and come down, and it's gonna be
It's sucking out
off-gassing all the butane. And then you're gonna be left with a thin layer on that parchment paper that when you tap it with your finger, it'll shatter like
Shatter.
glass.
Yeah.
And that's what they're
Nice.
referring
Big
to
up-
shatter.
You pick up a big piece of it and drop it, and it'll break into a million pieces.
assuming you have it at a colder temperature.
All right.
Yeah,
You can have a more stable shatter, and that's where
It's
the
to, like,
process
what
of
would you
deep
say, like
stabilizing.
75 degrees to where it like stops shattering.
I don't know. I've had some really stable stuff.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying stable and I talk about how we are transforming shatter into a sugar, I'm referring to how long we're allowing it to cure and to purge. And like I mentioned, that I would leave it in my car at 140 degrees in the middle of the summer for a couple of days for it to restructure. And it's because it was continuously off-gassing some of those stabilizing structures like BHO. The butane in it makes it a stable product. So when it's a dirtier product, you'll notice that it's a bit darker, has more of a shatter-like consistency. But when you get more into the refined shatters, they're a bit clearer and they will become malleable at room temperature.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how you can almost tell the quality of concentrate that you're dealing with.
So I said that a 70, 75, you can start moving it around, warming it out,
And that's a
putting it
nicer
in a J,
one. Yeah, that's a nicer
getting
one.
your
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nicer shatter, in my opinion.
There you go. And that's a little bit for shatter, guys. You know what I
favorite
mean?
method
So
of
you got a little bit of
consumption
it.
for concentrates. What would that be for you? Put
Hash hole, dude.
hash hole and a J.
Hash holes.
Yeah, hash
Yep.
holes are great.
Oh, yeah.
Another name for hash hole?
Hash hole.
Donut.
Donuts, baby. Donuts.
And
Love
that's
that.
with the queen herself. Incorporates flour, you know, you got the hash up in there, the hash
the
hole.
worm
you
of
know, the
concentrate.
got that hole right up in there looking real nice, especially when you're like hitting that and you see it melt into it, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, you know,
Yeah.
pointing right at you, you know what I mean? Because you see that circle when you're
Don't let
hitting
it drip.
and you like turn it around and you're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You just see like this donut just
Don't let it
ripping
drip on you.
just
That shit'll
fusing,
burn, bro.
right? Just that fusion. And how do people usually explain the components of
A
the
hash hole. So it's pretty much like you're rolling a joint, but they're
How does it work?
so
The operations.
if you want a really nice one, you can get like a small like cigarette box, you know, like
Cigarettes.
the half
Rolling
boxes.
trees?
No, like you know the small cigarettes or like the matchsticks, you know, like the box
yeah.
of matchsticks that are small. Cut it out, and you have like a little form that's like probably 2-inch by 2-inch. And that's going to be your outline. You're going to fill that full of flour, and you're going to get something that can press it all down at once.
Right.
You're going to press it down, and you're going to lay a
Form
worm.
it to form it.
And then you're going to lay a worm of concentrate, and you can just roll the concentrate in your hand. Depending on what you're using, of course, if you're using a sugar, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Or a batter, maybe. Just know what you're touching. If it looks like it can be malleable and you can work with it, work with it. Right. If it looks like a sugar or a crumble or anything like that and it's not going to work, just throw it in there. Don't try to don't be getting all your fingers all up in there. But yeah, that's essentially it. You lay the worm down and roll the joint.
Nice.
The point is to get the worm in the middle evenly with the flour.
Like a donut.
Because exactly like a donut.
Hole in the donut.
Exactly. You don't have one side that's smaller with a donut, or you don't have, it's all even, because that way it's like that's when it burns perfectly.
And that's
like
what
Seth was saying,
is
burning perfectly.
Yeah, if that fusion just starts to just blend nicely as you continue to toke properly, you know what I mean? Depending on the strain, and can there be levels of concentrate, right, in terms of low concentrate and high concentrate, just like flour, right?
So just where we were talking about trim compared to whole plant, there's definitely tiers to hash rosins and fresh press. So where and what that plant came from, did it come from a live product? In my opinion, I like live products, but I also love cured products.
It's alive.
Live products have a little bit more of that tang, but the cured products are a little bit more sweet. A little bit fresher zest. Think about it like as a fresher zest. But like a cured product, you can get some of those more dessert style flavors.
Dessert style flavors. Flavors are key to a lot of concentrates too. I mean, it's gonna taste nasty if you're just dabbing all this.
I'd say my favorite method is quartz banger.
And
just
a quartz banger.
Quartz banger. And that's like on a glass. There you go. Okay.
And then you just heat it up with a torch.
Nice.
And dab it straight up.
Eesh.
That way you can take a big glob.
Do you feel like concentrates are what people usually go after when they've smoked flour for a while?
For sure.
100%.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
You are.
I mean, I'm still heavy on flour.
Are there.
But like, I don't buy like concentrates in terms of like
and that's
shatter
just
and stuff.
from the market.
Yeah, the market that we lack. But even like homies, I don't know homies that are like they'll be selling like the little pucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh damn, that looks good, but I don't know.
Well, it's also ease of use. Like it's like you got a family at home, dude. It's not like you can just have a hot ass fucking painter outside.
Right. And it's like at the same time, it's the time to take to like. But now you have hardware. But now you got hardware like what? Terpenes. You got Da Vinci, you got Puff Nose, you got the Proxies, you know what I mean? I could just be standing outside my balcony, look like I'm doing a. You know what I mean? The neighbors would be like, "Hello,
dude." You can take some big old rippers on a Puffco.
Proxies are one of the best ones.
I think you're just misutilizing the niche.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
That's just my
you also got to drop $400, $500 on it. So
you know what I
it's
mean? And concentrates are awesome too.
Drop the same thing on a nice rig if you want to do that as well.
On a nice rig, but like if you want to start dabbing, you don't have to drop that much.
Like 100.
How would someone? Let's get into that. What's the intro to someone dabbing?
The intro to somebody dabbing. So there's a really nice product in my opinion. $30 at Dragonfly Wellness. It's called the Terpen. Amazing product. We'll do a review with it here pretty soon. I actually have one at the house. Just haven't had the opportunity to have you guys sit down and have the proper review. But I think it's a great introduction to concentrates. It's a great way to get into the introduction to vaporizing them as well, because it's still regulated by the machine and it's not tempered by you. And that's a huge caveat to people feeling confident behind using concentrates, as they have to temper the bucket. There's other things that are going into curating the proper experience for concentrates.
Is it the right temperature?
Yeah. But the Terpen kind of negates that experience and helps you get to the next form of just easy consumption, simple consumption, and easy cleaning format too. I've had some time to sit with the product now, so when we do that,
I've also checked it out, and it's one of my favorite products.
Yeah,
Terpen's pretty tight. You can actually, if you get the XL version, you can put it on your bong or your water pipe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, dude.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
You heard it here first, folks.
So just if you're looking to get into concentrates, it's a great tool to use. Utah is starting to get a bit better in the concentrate world. Keep your eyes open to the new things that are coming out. I personally feel good about where the industry is sitting because we want to move
It's doing
forward.
good, yeah.
We're trying.
Right.
Like we
It's
have
not
people
like it's
out
shot
here.
forward. It's not like it's too slow.
No,
Honestly, it's at a good point.
we're trying.
Price point is the
Sucks.
biggest thing right
Yeah,
now.
Right.
price point
is the
sucks.
biggest thing.
It's
There's some decent product out there. Shout out to Moxie, who really brought in all those really good processes and really stepped up the game out here.
Yeah.
Honestly,
They
because
changed the
before
game.
Moxie,
it was
honestly,
bad.
Yeah, Fruit of Life was doing great, but I mean, it was hard to fucking pay $95 for a gram, $120 for a gram. So it was like,
Time to pop out that Rick Simpson.
That's Papa Rick. And that's not Fruit of Life. They did great. They did great diamonds. They did great infusions and whatnot. But it's just like I said, it's the price point. It's the price point that was just
Criminal a little bit. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie. A little
I mean,
criminal.
hey, you
Prices
gotta.
here.
Hey,
Yeah, it's tough, dude. But we also
It's the business,
are getting
honestly.
the opportunity to teach right now.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Utah doesn't quite understand.
Oh,
the potential
100%.
of-
What?
of
100.
cannabis
Yeah,
yet.
I'm with you. I mean,
So,
the capital,
it's
the people,
also
yeah,
it's
the
also the
stigma.
lack of competition.
100%. What?
Yeah.
It's also the lack.
And that's
to the
the
choir,
biggest
brother.
thing is they're
Preaching to
holding
the
us
choir.
back with that too. Is like we can't even compete.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. The program is awesome where it's at, but it could be better because
Yeah,
we're talking
of
about
course.
25 years later.
100%.
So that's where I'm going to be yes and no. We're awesome where we're at, but we're definitely not
No,
supposed to
where
be
we
where
wanna
we're supposed to be
be.
at. Like we're comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Not enough people are up in arms like Nevada, Colorado, right? Washington, Oregon.
But-
and it's
Well,
not to
those
say
are-
we should.
those are all mature
you know?
states, though.
But
Those
what
are
I'm
all
saying
mature
is they all
programs.
started at some point, though, right? Which
course.
was active, activism. So we can't. So what I'm technically not trying to say here is the jargon of being comfortable. Like, yeah, we're pretty good, and
that's
that's
the
why I
only
say,
thing holding
and
me
that's why I
back.
say it's criminal. You know what I'm saying? Because the prices
The
are
access.
criminal a little bit. When you look at our pods and our
You're not wrong,
it
dog.
is
You're not
criminal,
wrong.
You know,
You're not
you
wrong.
got California, New York that are charging $39, $49 rosin carts. You know what I
It's
mean?
the abundance
And
of people that are making
right,
it.
and it's
Yeah,
and it's
and that's what I'm saying.
And it's like Javi said, it's these
They're
mature
letting us
states.
play with our hands behind our
But
back.
it's right now it's more so the state, like Gabe said. It's the state not knowing. It's our literally the people constantly having to educate themselves because, like you said, what is it? Being held behind your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I just wanted to touch on. I wanted to let the people know, like, hey, like we're good where we're at, but it's not supposed to be there.
We
if
can
that
do better.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
If we really
Because-
want to compare it to another
You know
state,
what I
sorry
mean?
to cut you off,
No.
but Montana
Oof.
being one of it, probably around the same age as our program. Traveling to Montana
A
last
little bit
year.
older.
A little bit older.
Little
yeah,
older, how old?
2 years. older.
2018?
2 or 3 years older. But they were medical first, and then they went recreational. And that's the biggest thing is that recreational really changes it. And it's because of the competition that goes with it. It's the abundance of companies that are making the product, that are growing, that are doing all of these things that really brings down the prices. And if we look at it, it's like, yes, they're 2 years ahead of us or something. But dude, traveling to Montana, I was like, oh, I hope prices are okay. I hope
How was
taxes
it?
are all right. They were okay. Like honestly, taxes were fine, like kind of normal 15% ish.
15%.
Not like Nevada, it wasn't like
20%,
20% or something.
25.
But they had decent product. Their concentrates were at a good price. It was all pretty normal, and thank goodness that it was recreational. Even though I did have my medical card. Still, some states don't allow that the medical card from
What?
your
Montana
state
doesn't
to
recognize
transfer.
you as a med patient from Utah?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean,
That's
there was no need for me to check
Okay,
because it was
there's a
rec.
rec.
Exactly,
Maybe a little
but that's
discount or something.
that's a good comparison. For
I
it to be
see.
almost as young as
Right.
our program, and still, it's like, yo, you go over there, you catch an 8 for $20, $25.
You can grow
whatever.
out there. You can
That's
have
the
plants
biggest
out
thing
there.
holding
Homegrown
us
out
back.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
home grow out there.
For real?
Yeah, you can home
Yeah.
grow out there.
Damn.
You already
Yeah,
know,
homies
home grow
out
is
there.
the way to go.
Home grow is
I got
definitely.
homies out there
Yeah.
that have been turning it up. dude.
And even then, like if you come across a certain grower that's producing, that's making concentrates, like support them in the best way because they know. You know what I mean? You have tent growers, you got guerrilla growers, you got outdoor growers, and these guys are dropping products, man, from their heart. You know what I mean? And it's about supporting those guys that are on the come up, you know? So like you said earlier, you know, shout out to the hash makers of Utah, you know what I mean? Putting us on game.
And we need more
JC.
licenses for more.
More
hash
licenses
makers.
for more,
Yep.
you know what I
More
mean? More
licenses.
competition to bring the
competition.
prices down for everyone to flourish.
And also get more diversity
You know
in
what I
product.
mean?
We're seeing a lot
Yeah.
of the same strains popping up around here. A
Yeah.
lot of the same things.
Right.
You know, same terps, same products.
Sheesh.
It's, you know, it's kind of getting old, yo.
It'd be so nice to like just try all these crazy strains that you see in different states, but in concentrate forms. You know what I mean? Like I see all these like rosins, these coming out of a jar, or like this live resin sauce. I'm like, damn, like, is that in a syrup bottle? No way. You know what I mean? And it's like in a vape form. You're like, that's crazy, you know? But it just goes to show the technology and that other states are adopting, and not more so our state is not. It just needs to get with the times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got a bunch of old heads. And it's true. Y'all old. It's all right. It's all right. Much love to you.
Oh.
But we're thankful, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about the concentrates. I'm still learning. I appreciate the boys for constantly teaching me. I think I'm going to look forward to some concentrate in the future.
Some cold
Yeah.
cure,
Some
live
cold
rosin.
cure, some live rosin, like actually like in the
Fresh
little puck.
press.
Oh, if you maybe look at our old episodes, there's one where these guys gave me a half gram.
Oh,
The
yeah.
dragon almost died.
Check
was
behind the
crazy.
scenes.
Yes, we might be posting on a Patreon some in the future. But
Yeah,
you guys remember that?
definitely.
What were the
Yeah.
flavors?
So we had
Damn, he
Goat
mixed that
Funk,
up. He gave
We had
you that
Panama
Jamba
Red,
Juice, dude.
Panama Red,
Jungle juice, man. Do you hear these strains, guys? Panama Red,
Dirty Taxi.
Dirty Taxi,
Goat
Goats,
Goat
Goat
Funk.
Funk.
Go
Yeah.
Funk, and some garlic something.
garlic cookies,
Garlic cookies.
One more.
banana, no,
But
guava punch.
Guava
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a guava.
It was a guava punch.
Hey, well, I got a question though for you guys. The high that I felt for that, before you wrap it up, there's this debate on Instagram right now between the high that flour or concentrate, between concentrate and flour.
Yeah.
Flour gives you, right, the high, but it's not as high as concentrate, but lasts longer.
It definitely.
And then
does
the
that.
argument is concentrate gets you high, but the shot down comes quick.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
You guys
with that.
agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I think I look at it as like a track car compared to a normal car. One accelerates really fast and gets going quick, but you have to slap.
Right.
or
So
else you're
say
gonna
I
end up
can
burning
go
out.
200 miles per hour and I'll get there in 3 hours, or I can go 150 and get there in 4.
I saw a
And,
video.
and have to stop at the gas station.
Right.
like
Yeah, and
6
get there in like
times.
4, 5.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean,
What's a good level for potencies for concentrates like that?
so
People
I
should
would-
try to like.
so if you're looking for concentrates,
If you're a heavy
anything
smoker.
over and be like logistical. If you guys really look at it,
Flavor.
you guys should be looking at anything over 50% plus.
Because you don't know what they're
Anything,
going into
because
look
that's
for,
why
right? They're
it's
just going to go and they're like, what's a good
concentrated.
potency level? Because some people might think if it's like, you know, this
Anything
cured
less
product,
than 60s.
you know, and it's a high number, the
Yeah,
better,
anything-
right?
no.
The lower the number, not. But that's what people might conceive,
Like,
right?
50
But that's a good
to
number.
like
Because you're talking about
80 max,
purity.
in my opinion.
I like 80 max.
If you're starting as low as you can go.
Yeah.
Honestly, because you're going say you're going from flour, which is typically anywhere from 15 to 25%,
Right.
and you're about to hit an 80% concentrate, like that's gonna be crazy. So honestly, going to the 65s, 70s,
50s.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if you can find a 50, you don't see a lot of 50s.
Yeah,
I've
no.
had like a cherry fritter. I've had like
You can find 50s, but I'm just saying, like, it's like typically you're seeing a lot of 65s to 70s.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the low range,
yeah.
because honestly, just like the edible saying, go start low, go slow. Because it's like, especially the nice thing about the terpene too is that you're not just putting it in a hot banger and ripping it till it's gone. The
Yeah.
thing about the terpene is that it kind of goes at a slow rate.
Yeah.
You have to kind of keep hitting it, and that way you can gauge exactly how elevated you want to be.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get that XL.
You should. You're
Yeah,
gonna love
let's
it.
go. Come on.
It's like $20, dude.
No, the XL's 50, but
Ah.
$20 extra. You know?
You're right.
Honestly, yeah. Hey, I actually want to shout out another product that is a really good one, and I've heard really good reviews about it. Trying it has been great. Is the Puffco Plus. That is another portable concentrate device that we carry here in Utah as well. But honestly, dude, that's a game changer. And the reason why it is a game changer, in my opinion, is because it has a little hook that's attached to the mouthpiece that you can actually scrape up your dab and just stick it into the tank and twist it on. So you don't need a separate tool to load up your dab, or you don't need to press it on something like the Turk pen. That's, in my opinion, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Hell
that's
yeah.
That's badass.
That's badass. I just don't have one, so I can't talk on it just yet. But I do. It is in the bucket list of products that I want.
Puffco, you already heard. We don't need one of them Puff.
That
One of the
UCC
plus.
Try that
Puffco.
Puffco Plus is over here on our way. But yeah, that's a great one. If you see it around, ask your local bud tender about it. Check it out if you are
Plus.
interested in doing concentrates.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I used to have one of those. The Puffco Plus.
Yup, dude.
Yeah, I had that
you
little
got
vision. Yeah, that thing smacked, man. That thing was crazy.
Smack, man.
I had to look it up
happened
real
to
quick. That's a good question.
Find it. I want it.
Gone with the wind.
Well, I think we're going to be out here for today, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Oh yeah, appreciate you guys coming through.
Yeah, man, that's the Concentrate game, guys. You know what I'm saying? Make sure to tune in on our last episodes, our 3-part series of ancient history on cannabis. You can find us on Utah Cannabis Club, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Tune in, man. Interact with us. Message us, shoot us a DM if you have any questions, concerns. You know what I mean? We'll be here to try to answer the best that we can. We're just like you guys, patients trying to navigate this crazy medical market. And we're here to stay. We ain't going anywhere because there's Utah Cannabis Club in the house. It's your boy, Sep.
Good boy, Gabe.
It's your boy, JJ.
And it's Javi.
Hey, man. And we'll have our boy, Wes, on here next week, man.
Keep on the lookout for the merch.
Yeah, look out for the merch out. We appreciate y'all, man. Dab it
Peace out,
up.
y'all.
Fire in, fire
Shout out all
out.
of you guys.
Wash your butt. Wash your butt.